The courtroom was colder than I remembered. Maybe it wasn't the air conditioning. Maybe it was just the feeling of being surrounded by people who wanted to see me lose. The echo of every step I took toward that witness stand felt heavier than my heartbeat. The moment I looked up, I saw them. My parents. The people who gave me life and then threw me away like trash. My mother crossed her arms, whispering something to my father before rolling her eyes, as if I was still the burden she left behind years ago. It's strange how life circles back. I was the boy they abandoned on my grandfather's porch. The same porch where I learned to walk, where my grandfather taught me how to plant sunflowers, where I cried for parents who never came back. And now, decades later, they were back. Not for love, not for forgiveness, but for money.
Then I stood up, walked to the door, and opened it wide. "Thank you for visiting," I said, voice steady, "but there's nothing left to talk about." They both stood there frozen, tears streaming down my mother's face. Before they stepped out, my dad turned around. "You'll regret this one day, son." I smiled faintly. I already did. For 8 years. Not anymore. As they walked out into the sunlight, I watched their car disappear down the long driveway. No shouting, no anger, no drama, just silence. Because sometimes the calmest revenge is showing the people who doubted you that you didn't need them to become everything they said you couldn't be. And that day, as I closed the door behind me, I finally felt free. Not because I turned them away, but because I didn't need their approval anymore. That was my revenge. A financial proposal. They wanted me to invest in saving the family business. 8 years ago, they threw me away like trash. Now they were asking for millions. I didn't raise my voice. I just stood up, walked to my office, and came back with something in my hand. An old, crumpled letter. It was the one my dad made me sign the night I left. The letter officially cutting me off from the family inheritance. I placed it on the table. "Remember this?" I said quietly. My father's face went pale. I leaned forward. "You told me to never come back. You said I wasn't your son." He stuttered. "Ethan, we were angry." I cut him off, still calm. Angry people forget words. I don't. My mom started crying softly. "Please, Ethan, we've lost everything. Your brother's in trouble. Your father, he's sick." I looked at her and said, "I'm sorry to hear that. But you made your choices. You chose pride over love, money over me." I didn't respond. I just let the silence sit heavy in the air. Then my dad sighed. "Listen, things have been tough. The business, well, it's not what it used to be. We thought maybe we could start over, as a family." I looked at him, this man who once told me I'd never be anything. And in that moment, I realized something. They weren't here for forgiveness. They were here for money. I motioned for them to come inside. They walked through the marble foyer, staring at the chandeliers, the paintings, the luxury they once said I'd never touch. My mom whispered, "You did all this, by yourself?" I smiled. "Yeah, without anyone's help." We sat down in the living room. My dad started talking about family bonds, about forgiveness and second chances. But then he pulled out a folder. I could have reached out. I could have rubbed it in their faces, but I didn't, because real revenge doesn't need noise. It just needs silence and success. Then one morning the impossible happened. A black car pulled up in front of my gates. Through the security camera, I saw them, my parents. My dad looked older, smaller somehow, and my mom was holding his arm like she needed strength to stand. The guard buzzed me. "Sir, they're asking to see you." I froze. 8 years of pain hit me all at once. But then, I said calmly, "Let them in." As I walked to the front door, I could feel my pulse in my fingertips. When I opened it, the sunlight hit their faces, and for a second no one spoke. Then my mom whispered, "Ethan, you've done so well for yourself." My dad cleared his throat, pretending to smile. "We're proud of you, son." They say time heals everything, but sometimes time doesn't heal. It transforms. It turns pain into purpose. So when my parents, yes, the same ones who threw me out 8 years ago, showed up at my mansion gate that morning, begging to talk, I didn't yell. I just smiled, because finally, time had done its job. I still remember the night they disowned me like it was yesterday. My dad's voice echoing through the house. "You're a disgrace to this family, Ethan. You'll never make it on your own." And my mom, standing behind him, silent but complicit, clutching my younger brother like I was some contagious disease. All because I refused to join the family business.